Φίλοι και φίλοι Totalbasket, γεια σας και καλώς ήρθατε στο δεύτερο Total Guests με καλεσμένο τον Τρεμέλ Ντάρντεν. Έχετε ευχές για μια υγιή χρονιά, μια καλή χρονιά, ένα χαρούμενο 2025 από όλη την ομάδα του Totalbasket.gr. Μαζί με τον Τρεμέλ Ντάρντεν λοιπόν, θα δείτε και παρακάτω στην συνέντευξη που θα ακολουθήσει, μιλήσαμε για την επαγγελματική του πορεία, για τα χρόνια του στο Ρεάλ και τον Ολυμπιακό, μας είπε ιστορίες για τον Σπανούλη, για τον Σλούκα, μας είπε τη γνώμη του για το αν ο Κέντρικ Ναν είναι ο καλύτερος παίκτης στην Ευρώπη, αν ο Ντοκούμπο είναι ο καλύτερος παίκτης παγκοσμίως και άλλα πολλά. Θεωρώ ότι η συνέντευξη αυτή θα έχει ενδιαφέρον, οπότε αυτό που έχετε να κάνετε εσείς δεν είναι τίποτε άλλο παρά ένα like στο βίντεο, subscribe στο κανάλι για να μην χάνετε κανένα από τα επόμενα βίντεο, είτε συνέντευξη είτε εκπομπή, και καλή απόλαυση. So, Tremel, it's a pleasure for me, and thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the opportunity.
Okay, Tremel, as I told you, we're going to talk about your European basketball journey, and of course, we will talk about this year's Euroleague, and I think it will be really interesting. Are you ready?
Yep.
So, Tremel, you were born and raised in California with Márkíz Hέinς. In our last interview, we said that many players in those kind of cities have some story that make them love basketball and start playing the game. Which is yours?
When I was young, my stepdad used to play basketball. So when I was probably, 4 or 5 years old, he would take me to the gym with him to watch him play pickup. So watching him play pickup ball, and then, that's when Jordan came in and was really dominant in the NBA. It was something that really just pulled me to the game. And like I said, going and watching live, and, as most kids have their little toys, I might have had my little toys, but I was focusing on the game, and so I developed a love for it. Watching Michael Jordan, as I said, as a young kid, and all of his, he was like a superhero to me when I was a young kid. So between watching my stepdad and watching Michael Jordan, it just drew me to the game.
Okay, I see. You said that he was playing for the NBA, but unfortunately you didn't manage to get drafted. And after all this stuff, you moved to Europe in, let me say, quite young age.
Mm-hmm.
And your European basketball journey started in 2004. How was your experience?
The first year it was different because I was in a small city in Turkey. The city was called Ereğli in Zonguldak, which is about 3.5 hours outside of Istanbul, and about 3 hours from Ankara. So it started off, very, very different. I thought, oh man, is this what all of Europe is going to be like? It was just me. It was small, and they was really strong in their religious beliefs in that part of the country. So, it wasn't really much to do. The team was a small team, first year in the first division in the Turkish league. And we didn't get a car. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get a car. But the team was good in supplying meals for us. We had a nice place. We had meals that we could go to for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it was just small. I was thankful for the opportunity to be playing professional basketball. I'm gonna be honest. I felt like I should have been in the NBA, but I went to a small school, so I was just looking at it at that moment as just a stepping stone to learn and grow, continue to get better and develop on the way to trying to make it to the NBA. And I had a good point guard who had been experienced, played at UNLV. When I was in high school, I saw him all 4 years at UNLV. So him being my point guard my rookie year, I knew who he was. I was familiar with how he played. And he was real instrumental in helping my rookie year.
Yes, I see. I mean, it took you, by the way, 7 years to move to the Euroleague. So, I mean, you came in Europe in 2004. Your first Euroleague attempt was in 2011 with Unicaja Málagα. So, how was your time in Málagα?
Okay. I was saying that it was just a vibrant vibe that I hadn't had in any previous stop I had lived in. It was very sunny. And, you know, living in Athens, in most places where the weather is great, it's just seemed like everybody's happy all the time. And so I was just very thankful to be playing there. I loved everything about life in addition to the basketball. Basketball was very competitive. This was right after the lockout in the NBA. So NBA players were coming and playing overseas. You know, NBA players were coming to play overseas. So everything about it to me, my first experience in Euroleague was awesome. I got to play at a level that was extremely high. I felt like at the time NBA had shut down, so Euroleague was the best league in the world. ACB and Euroleague, you playing in ACB and Euroleague, you're one of the top players in the world. That's how I believed and how I felt. And we started off very well. We had a very good team. And the experience, you know, it was a experience of a high and a low in the same year because we started off so well. Qualified, Euroleague's format was different at the time. So qualified for the next round. And then we went on a big time losing streak. So we went from being one of the top teams to being a bad team. But I loved every bit of it. I learned, I grew, I got better, and I got to experience Euroleague at different phases. I missed the current phase of how Euroleague is, but the phase back then was different than it was when I played in it. And I enjoyed every bit of it.
So, talking about Unicaja Malaga, you had the opportunity to play under the instructions of Chus Mateo, the current coach of Real Madrid. So, I mean, Chus Mateo was not that famous at this time, but now he's one of the coaches in the top teams in Europe. So, how was your time with Chus Mateo?
Oh man, I loved playing for Coach Chus. I saw his potential back then. So I'm not surprised at the success he's been able to have. And I unfortunately got a raw deal when we were there. As I said, we started off playing very, very well. And things took a turn, but Coach Chus was very good at putting guys in position to succeed. I've always said a coach's job, he has two jobs, to get everybody to buy into his system and what he's preaching. And the second thing is to put guys in position to succeed. So if he saw you like to get the ball in a certain area and you was more comfortable playing out of this particular space on the court, he drew up a play for you to get the ball in that area and perform. He always was very positive. And I think the experience helped him in Unicaja develop. You know, at the time, I want to say that might have been his first head coaching job. So he was able to develop the identity that he wants to have, the personality that he wanted to craft as a coach. And I think that experience in Unicaja helped him to be successful as he has been in Real. He also was one of Coach Pablo's assistants as well. And you learn and grow from each experience. You take the things that you enjoyed and take that with you, and the things that you didn't like, you try not to do that. And I think he's done a great job of fusing both his experiences as an assistant at a high level and coaching at a high level, and now he's been able to take that to Real and have success. Although this season hasn't been one of their better seasons, it's going to happen when you lose some of the quality players that they had with Rudy retiring and Chacho retiring. You know, it's hard to fill that void.
Yabusele moved to the Sixers?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Yabusele moved to the Philadelphia 76ers?
Yep. Yabusele as well. I completely forgot about him going to the Sixers. So you're losing vital guys who were able to perform and bring something that happens behind the scenes that most fans and most people who aren't in that locker room don't understand the value of a player. So when you lose two veteran players who've been Olympians and elite level champions, and then you lose somebody else who's been vital in the success and his toughness and the things that he brought. It's gonna hurt, but they'll get themselves. You know, they have talent, they have a great coach, and Chus has done a great job of taking over and putting his imprint and leaving his mark on the brand of Real Madrid and in Euroleague.
You told me before that your goal before moving to Europe was to make it to the NBA, but you didn't make it. Not only before moving to Europe, but also after some great seasons in Europe, like especially after your tenure in Žalgiris Kaunas.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So why do you think you didn't manage to make it?
You know what? I don't know. You know, from a spiritual perspective, I would say, you know, that wasn't what God had for me. He probably felt I was more impactful playing overseas and in Europe. But from my perspective, I don't know. You know, after that Žalgiris year, I really felt I was ready. But at the same time, once I got to Real Madrid, I also believed that I was just as good and at the highest level possible. You know, there are certain teams, as you know, making it into certain teams in European basketball is just like making it to the NBA, because the talent is that high, the expectations are that high, and the player is that type of caliber player. So once I did get the opportunity and make it to Real Madrid, I felt as if I was just as good as anybody that was in the NBA. And one of my goals after I did not get that opportunity to make it to the NBA was to play for two of the teams that I actually played for, which was Real Madrid and Olympiacos. So, you know, I still felt I was an NBA talent. Part of the delusion that I have and was the fuel that kind of allowed me to make it to that level was I still believe I can play in the NBA today at 43 years old. You know, I still train every day with my kids. I'm still in enough shape to help anybody if it's needed at any level. So although I never made it, I felt like I was just as good. I've played against plenty of guys that were at that level. And again, when you don't know the right people, and what I'm learning about life, you know, when the right people aren't advocating for you, it's harder to succeed and reach and progress up to the extremely high levels, because, you know, so much of this is about relationships and what people believe and how they feel about you. And if this person says I can vouch for you, then you'll have a higher opportunity to progress and succeed based on who you know. So, you know, it didn't happen. That wasn't God's will for me, but by his grace, I was still able to be impactful and have a great career playing at the highest level in Europe.
Yes. So after all this, you moved, as you said, to Real Madrid after your tenure in Žalgiris, playing with some legends like Jiul, Rodriguez, and Rudy, as you mentioned before. Also our Greek guy, Yannis Bourousis.
Mm-hmm.
So what about this time? What about Real Madrid?
Man, we had a very good team. I tell a lot of people we would have beat teams in the NBA that year with that squad that we had. You forgot Nico Mirotic as well.
Yes,
Young
of
Nico
course.
Mirotic. You know, we had, as far as Americans, we had Marcus Slaughter, Dante Draper, J.C. Carroll, and myself. Like, we had a very good team. And evidenced by how well we played throughout the course of that year. It was like I said, I was so thankful and grateful because I understand how hard it was to make it to that level. And to be one of the guys on that team who was able to contribute and actually start was very difficult. I mean, if you look at the starting roster, we had a national team player center in Bruce's. We had the national team guards for the Spanish team with Rudy and Sergi. And Nico actually played on the national team even a little bit down the road as well. So I always look at that team and say, wow, you know, in the moment of the Olympics, I was one of the guys who was on the team with some other Olympians. So we had a very good team. We kind of fell short of our goal that year in the very difficult Euroleague matchup against Maccabi in the final, but we played very good basketball on both ends of the floor. It was fun. You don't really understand the course of history that you're participating in until it's over, right? And that team was really good. We had a tough battle in the Euroleague playoffs against Olympiacos to get to the Final Four. But that whole year was just an amazing year of a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't easy. You know, a lot of people think just because you're succeeding, it's going to be easy. No, it was nothing easy about what we did. You had to come to work every day. There was going to be some joyful days and some difficult days, but it still was fun. The journey was fun, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And the contribution that I was able to make to the team at that moment.
Yes, I was thinking that you were like, let's say, unlucky, because when you were in Madrid, you lost in the final from Maccabi. After this, you moved to Olympiacos and you lost from Real in the final. So, I mean, it wasn't like let's say meant to be to win one Euroleague. So, is it something that they're missing from your trophy case?
Most definitely. You know, it was the main goal for that team that year when I was in Real to win that EuroLeague, and we put a lot into it throughout the course of that season. Unfortunately, we came up short in Italy playing against Maccabi, and in the following year, same thing. You know, when I went to Olympiacos, just looking at the roster, I felt like we had a team that could get to the Final Four and win it as well. And sure enough, you know, we competed. We had a very good team as well, a very athletic team, a lot of guys who still were establishing themselves as far as Americans are concerned. But we had some established EuroLeague legends with Billy and Yorgos and young Slukas was still making his climb up. We just had a very, very good team. And it's unfortunate, you know, like I said, it wasn't meant for me to win. I understand how hard it is to get to the Final Four. I had a similar situation a few years ago when I was with Ludwigsburg. You know, we went to the Final Four as well, the Champions League, and ended up falling short in that one. So it wasn't meant for me to end up winning the international titles that are on the trophy case. But the journey, as I said before, it was great. Just really, really going through the process of trying to make it and the grind of the mental focus and the attention to details that it takes to win. In a one game situation, that's what's so great about it. Anybody can win. That Madrid team, we were the favorites, and we should have been the favorites because all year we were putting in work. But on that particular night, Maccabi was better than us. They made the right shots and made the right plays at the right time. And some of the same opportunities that we normally capitalize on that didn't fall. So I appreciate the opportunity. Never got that title under my belt, but I was really, I've seen what it takes to be a champion. I've won, you know, domestically, I've won 5 domestic championships, and each one, it looks a certain way. You know, what it looks like to win and the process that it takes to win, both from the coaching and the players, it looks the same. And I know I didn't get that opportunity to do it as a player. Hopefully I could pass the wisdom on to the next generation and help them achieve that goal moving forward.
So, as you can understand, we'll stay more to your tenure in Olympiacos, where, as you said, you played with some EuroLeague legends as Spanouli, Príndezis, young Sloukas, and Papapetru. So, how was your time with these legends, and how did you see Sloukas and Papapetru have this much of, let's say, improvement?
Well, when I was playing against Olympiacos the previous year in the playoffs, I thought Slukas was very good then. He had always been a very efficient player. So seeing his success now, I'm not surprised. Same thing with Papapetru. Unfortunately, he got hurt early on in the year for us. I want to say he broke his leg, his ankle. But he was another player that I saw high-level potential. So I knew he would do well. It's always to me about the habits that you see the guys have. So as somebody who's known for being a hard worker, and, you know, anybody who's played with me and or coached me can vouch for that. Like Coach Andreas, our strength conditioning coach, used to make me leave the gym sometimes and tell me, you cannot shoot after. Get out of here. But I've seen those guys put in work. I've seen they have a mentality of loving basketball. So seeing Suki loved basketball, Papapetru talking about basketball. And then off the course, Lucas always hung out with us, went to dinner with us, chilled with us. I just knew he had potential to do what he's doing. Same thing with Papapetru. Billy and I, we were roommates on the road. So I got to see, you know, his discipline and his routine.
He is a basketball holic.
We both are. We definitely both are. So I didn't think he would get into coaching as early as he did, but again, we love
in
the
a high
game.
level, okay.
Yes, at extremely high level, having the success that he's had. I'm not surprised about the success. It's just I didn't think he wanted to get into the coaching space as early as he did. But I knew he would succeed in that as well, because he does it from the right reasons and for the right place. You know, when you love something, it shows. And he's a basketball junkie. It's hard to stay away from it when you love it. Trust me. I get to see my kids do it, and I'm training, but you know, it's hard to stay away from it when you love it. But I was thankful to learn from Billy as well. Like I said, he's very, very disciplined in his routine. I believe discipline is something that is not talked about enough in the success of high-level athletes. The discipline and that it takes to do what you need to do completely day in and day out, whether you want to or not. He has the extreme discipline. We had a good team, and he's a great leader. You know what I'm saying? The way he communicates that's evidenced by how his teams are succeeding right now, right? If he wasn't a good leader as a player, he wouldn't be able to be a good leader as a coach. And he's doing really, really good with that. And Yorgos, again, he was somebody else who was really disciplined. He had a very, very good run. And again, success is no accident when you see guys putting in work. And I saw the guys putting in work, the work that is required to be successful, both individually and as a team. And both Yorgos and Billy were really true to that. And then the young guys, you know, followed behind. And they left a good legacy that Greek basketball could be proud of, and a legacy for the young kids to strive to achieve. And I was just thankful to be a part of that, to see that, and just to do my part in trying to help leave my mark on the team and on my teammates as well, by putting in work and just doing what the team needed to succeed. You know, a lot of the relationships that we built on that team, we still have. I still communicate with Dunstan and Othello. I still communicate and have a relationship with Lafayette. You know, when Billy got the job for Monaco, I texted him and we had a nice conversation back and forth. So I'm happy to see the success that the guys have, but those guys are going to always do well because they have the things that people don't see on the basketball court: the discipline, the commitment, the dedication, and the want, the desire. And you know, Billy succeeding. Whatever they choose to do, they'll be successful in. And I'm happy to still see Papapetru and Sluki doing well for the other team. For the other team, but they're still doing well.
I remember back at the time, although we weren't, let's say, one of the most important players talking about the offense, and if we see just the numbers, points, but you were pretty much loved by the fans, as I can remember. Why do you think the fans love you this much?
They see the effort that I put in every day. I played hard. They seen I was committed to doing what was necessary for the team. I think people can, and I played hard. I think people can relate to somebody competing hard and playing hard every day. Every time you knew what you was going to get from me. I wasn't going to shortchange you. And also in the big moments, if you look at how I performed in the big moments, I always stepped up in the big moments. So a lot of times you sacrifice yourself for a greater team to succeed. And I think by God's grace, when the moments came, I was able to really show what I can do. But what I did do was what the team needed me to do for us to win. I think the fans appreciate it. Every time I've been back to Piraeus and Athens, I've been treated with the utmost respect, my family, myself. And I love the fact that the fans appreciate what I brought to the team and the impact that I was able to have. As I said, I was able to show up in the big moments by God's grace. And I think that was just a testament to me always being ready. The moment never was too big for me. As I said, I was delusional. So I always believe I was one of the best three men in Europe. But the numbers wouldn't suggest it. But when the numbers were needed, they would suggest it. And that wasn't by accident. You know, even when I was on Real Madrid, it's the same thing. You know, the fans appreciate what I brought to the team. And that's one thing that you want to get respect. At the end of the day, you want to get respect from your peers and from the fans that you was able to play for. And those are two clubs who appreciate what I brought to the team and the success that we was able to have, understand that I was able to contribute. And my contribution isn't going to necessarily be the glamour contribution that everybody wants, but it was glamorous in the right moment. And consistently played with effort, consistently had the right attitude, and the love has always been seen. And I appreciate the love I get from everybody in Athens.
I mean, the true basketball fans can see beyond the numbers and take it one step further and see that a player can't be judged just by the numbers he puts on a basketball game. He can be also important being positive to the team, trying his best every day, every game. So I believe that it's something the fans understood back at this time.
Most definitely. True fans of the game can understand that. It's the casuals that just see the numbers, right? And as I was saying earlier, there's impact that players have that goes beyond the numbers, right? It's a word communicated to somebody at the right time. It's making the right decision and the right read at the right moment in the game. It's taking that charge. It's the sacrifices that you make for the team. And one thing about European basketball is winning matters, right? And everybody a part of that team is a part of winning. You have a job to do, you have a role to play. Somebody's role is going to be bigger than others. But without this particular person, you don't have the success that you have. And I don't think most people understand that, but true fans of the game and true fans of success, I want to say a fan of success understands that every person matters, every part matters. And what you bring to the table, only you can do, right? And they're not going to succeed without you. And I will say I appreciate the love and the support that I get from the teammates. I mean, from the guys that I play with and the fans that I played in front of when I was there. Because, as I said, I came with the effort, and people can always relate to effort, right? You can relate to hard work. You can relate to somebody coming in each and every day, and you know what you're going to get from them. And I think for me, that was a situation. And you know what you was going to get. And in the big moments, I never was going to shy away. And that's a part of winning. Winning is a mentality. Winning is set with a mentality and a culture. Most people don't understand winning because they've never been a part of a winning mentality and a winning culture. And when you're part of winning, you understand that you need to do what is necessary to help contribute to the win. And that's all I try to do, is be somebody that was able to contribute and help and leave my mark, as I said. And I'm the fact that we're having this conversation now, it shows that I was able to have an impact that people appreciate it. And I'm grateful for the support and the love that I'm able to get.
So now, if you don't mind, let our viewers know about one or two stories, either funny or not, during your time in Piraeus.
You know what? It was. There's not many stories that. I can't remember this. For me, this was when I understood how important that rivalry between Olympiacos and Pana was. We played them in the cup in the beginning of the year, and unfortunately, I missed that game because I had broke my hand in preseason, and it was our first, like official match, and we ended up losing that game, and the way that we got responded to when we got back to the gym was crazy. The fans was very disappointed, very upset. Let's just say they were upset. And for me, that was my first time experiencing something in that light. It was kind of upsetting for myself because I wasn't able to play and because of my hand being broke. But the situation was very intense when we got back to the gym. And it was something that showed me how important and how valuable that game was to the fans. And I made a mental note that if I'm participating in this game against them, I'm going to make sure I do my part to help us be on the receiving end of a victory. That was the first one. And the second one came when we played them in later on in the regular season, when we played them in Awaka. And before the game was over, I think Billy did this. He scored a bucket and did this. And oh my goodness, it was, we had to get to that locker room as quick as possible with about 40 seconds left, I want to say, left in the game. And if you watch the video, somebody threw a water bottle at us. And as I'm running, I caught it. I saw it and I caught it. And I just kept moving, kept it moving towards to the locker room. So those games are very intense. And that's just two experiences on the positive side and on the other side of it, on the winning side and on the losing side. Those are two experiences that I definitely can always communicate and always will remember.
So I think now it is a really good moment to move on to this year's Euroleague. You told me that Vasilis Spanoulis has success. It's something that everyone can see that he's already successful and there is more success on his way. So what's your prediction on this season? And if possible, give me the prediction of the Final Four.
Oh, yeah, like it just seems this year there's a lot of parity in Euroleague, which is always good. It's good for the game when you have uncertainty of who's going to be the winner. As I said, last year, everybody knew Real Madrid was going to be in the final. The beginning of last year, I started off with Munich, so I was able to see Pana play early on. I want to say we played against them. They played good basketball. So I don't necessarily know if anybody thought they was going to end up being the champions, but you could see that Coach Adaman had those guys playing differently than they had for the previous years. But this year, I feel like it's up in the air. Paris looked very, very strong. They were doing really, really well. Definitely surprised everybody at how they was performing. I like how Monaco has been playing since Billy has been there. He's really got the guys to buy in, as I said, and then putting guys in position to have success. I know Real has been struggling from what we're used to, but they have the championship pedigree, and you can't count them out as well. I think a team that has been playing well that I've seen of late is Milano. I know they lost their last two, but the Milano that everybody expected for the last few years, that's what you're seeing now, if I'm not mistaken. And me being home, I don't get to catch as many games as I like to. When I'm over there, Thursdays and Fridays, all I'm doing is watching Euroleague. But since the timing is a little bit different, I don't get to catch as many games as I normally do. So the games that I do get to catch, is I got to watch this past week, Baskonia, when Baskonia played their previous game, and it was a good game. Watching Marcus Howard, he was shooting that basketball really, really well in that particular game. I played for Coach Pablo, so I follow Pablo. I like what Munich is doing this year. I think Munich is playing quality basketball. So honestly, there's so much parity, and there's so many. I couldn't say who I think my favorite is right now.
The Greek powerhouses.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Greek powerhouses, Panathinaikos and Olympiacos.
Oh, they're still, those two in particular, Olympiacos are always going to be there because they're consistent, right? Olympiacos has the system that they've had for the last few years. They're consistent, and there's a familiarity with the guys who are already there. So you're never going to count them out. They're always going to be tough. They're going to compete. Every game, Coach Barzokas, who I got to play for a little bit while I was there, he's going to have those guys ready to play. And you can never leave out Coach Obradovic. He's the standard for a reason, right? And the way that team is playing, they've been balling of late. It seems like guys are getting adjusted to each other, adjusted to Coach's system. So the talent is very good over there at Partizan. So again, I will say certain teams you want to always kind of have in the top in that mix. With the way Nunn has been playing, and the two Greek teams, to me, I would have to say you still want to put them at the top of potentially getting to the Final Four. As I said, after that, it's not clear cut like normal. You understand what I'm saying? Like everybody, is so much parity. So I'm not going to put the young. I'm gonna call Paris the young up and comer. I can't throw them in that area yet. You want to go with the people who kind of has that battle tested.
The experience
yes, that Euroleague high level experience. So both as the coaching and as the just the players, the coaching and the players. So again, two teams, I will say the two Greek teams are probably still going to be favorites to be in the Final Four. After that, I'm biased. I'm a Real Madrid fan still. But they can get hot at the right time, but I'm not going to. I think based on talent and experience, I think what Billy has had Monaco do it thus far really seems like those guys have bought in, and they're really playing hard for him. And then you want to think about Partizan. As I said, Partizan is playing well. So for me, I think right now I'll put Olympiacos, Pana, Partizan, and potentially that last spot is going to be Real, Monaco. Munich, if Munich can stay healthy, Munich can be a dark horse who surprised a lot of people because, when you watch them play, when that three ball is falling, they're very hard to beat. I see they're putting up a lot of threes, which is kind of new for the European basketball and the quality and the quantity of shots that they're shooting from the 3-point range. But when they're making them, it's hard to beat. Those are my top 5, in my opinion, moving forward.
Talking about Real Madrid, I mean that when the time comes, your buddy, Sergio Giul, will find a way
Absolutely.
and send them to the Final Four.
Absolutely, because they have experience, right? I mean, he's the last guy that's there, I want to say, from when I was able to play with the team. But you know, Falco, Campazzo has got experience. Some of the other players that are there, they've been there for
Gezonia, Musa, Tavares.
yeah. So they have what they need. You know, excuse me. It's just figuring out the right combination, and really it's playing your best ball at the right time too. So you can be struggling now, but get going in the last 10 games, find your stride, and carry that momentum into the playoffs. You know, with the play-in, it's a lot of possibilities. You know, playoffs are always about matchups, no matter what. It's always about matchups. So if you get in there in that one-game situation and now you get the right matchup, you could be there. So I believe, you know, teams have talent. You know, Barca has talent. I didn't even mention Barca. You know, Barca always is going to be in the top, fighting for that every year. Finner is always going to be fighting for that every year. So I didn't even mention those teams, but you never forget about them. So I mentioned them now because you can never leave them out. You can never count them out. And again, Sergi has that experience. You know, Tavares has been there, Zonia, all those guys, they're champions. So you know what it takes to win. And again, it's been such parity. It's a joy to watch. You know, when the games are on here, you know, I can have multiple games on at the same time while I'm at home. One on each TV and one on my iPad. You know, so it's fun to watch, and I think we're going to get a great brand of basketball continuing to move forward, and it's good for the game when you have the parity. Because think about it, when Golden State and Cleveland were in the finals every year, everybody knew that. We know who's going to be in the finals, you know. But now when you don't know, it makes it more intriguing, and it draws more people in.
Now we're going to enter to the last part of our interview with some true or false questions and some dilemmas. So, is Kέντρικ Ναν the best player in the Euroleague?
True. I'll say true. He's most impactful on his team. If we date back to last year, when his arrival, he was able to really carry the team and just infuse confidence in them that helped them. And I believe, you know, just from outside looking in, they believe long as we have him, you know, we have a chance. So based on how things have been going, you can say it's probably him at this moment. That can change, but like I said, at this moment, it's probably him.
Is Giannis the best player in the world?
That's a good debate. I'm going to say true. My son is a big Giannis fan. Him and my wife go at it back and forth between him and Jokic. So both the teams aren't doing as well, but Giannis did just win the NBA Cup. So I'm gonna get an edge to Giannis because his team just won the NBA Cup.
Give me your starting 5 more talented teammates you ever had.
First one for me would be Sergio Giul. I thought he was probably the most talented player I played with. His speed, athleticism was off the charts. Second would be Rudy Fernandez. I thought he was the most gifted player I played with, naturally gifted. Third would probably would be for sure Billy. Billy would be third. Now this isn't in no order. This is just based on what I saw as far as you said talent, top 5. Fourth would be probably Nico Mirotic. Nico Mirotic was really, really good. I thought he could be potential all-star as well in the NBA. Same thing with Rudy Fernandez. And then the 5th would be Joe Ingles. I played with Joe Ingles in Melbourne when I was in South Dragons, when he was 20, turned 21. Very talented player, evidenced by the long career he had, and he's still in the NBA today. He was very, very good. I thought he was an NBA player. I thought he should have got drafted that year. He needed a little more seasoning, so he came to Europe and played in Europe for a little bit. But Joe Ingles is up there as well. So for me, it would be Sergio Yuel, Rudy Fernandez, Vasilis Spanoulis, Nikola Mirotic, and Joe Ingles.
So, and the last one, I think it's the best. You have to choose a next teammate to make the game-winning 3-point shot that decides your life. Sergio Γιουλ or Vasilis Spanoulis?
Man, that's a tough one. Oh, my goodness. Ooh. Both of the guys were the guys I choose. I would choose both of them. I'm going to go with Billy. I'll go with Billy. Billy has hit big shots. So is Sergi. But for at this moment, I'll go with Billy. Billy gets that nod. But both of those guys, you can't go wrong with either one, to tell you the truth, because Sergi hits shots at the buzzer, whether it's at the end of a quarter, whether it's at the end of the game. You see, he beat Olympiacos not too long ago in the final. You know what I'm saying? With that shot over the big fella. So
without having scored not a single point.
Yeah. So like in that moment, he's always the person that you're gonna get a ball to, no matter what. And it's normal for him. Like I said, he does it in the end of the quarter, end of the shot clock, end of the half, end of the game. Whichever one you want, he can do it. And vice versa. Both of those guys are clutch. And the moment is never too big. That's what I was saying earlier. Can't be scared of the moment. And you want somebody who's not scared of the moment to take that shot.
Okay, Tremel, it's really been a pleasure for me. I really enjoyed our interview today.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry that we had internet issues. Try to move a little closer to the modem. But I appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation with you. Looking forward to seeing it, listening to it, and hopefully everybody can enjoy it. Appreciate you. Thank you for the love.
Okay, now let me inform our viewers about how to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Εσείς μπορείτε να κάνετε like στο βίντεο και subscribe στο κανάλι για να μην χάνετε καμία εκπομπή και καμία συνέντευξη από αυτές που θα ακολουθήσουν. Είχαμε στην παρέα μας τον Τρεμέλ Ντάρντεν. Τρεμέλ, let's wish to our viewers for a happy new year, because when we are going to upload this video, it will be on in the first days of 2025. So okay. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully you have a great, abundant, prosperous year, and get all that you want to happen for you in this upcoming year.
Okay, Tremel, thank you again, and all the best.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you.